Life doesn't ask for permission before it breaks us. It doesn't knock before entering with loss, disappointment, rejection, or pain. One moment you are dreaming, and the next moment you are surviving. And when life knocks you down, it whispers a dangerous lie. This is the end. But what if it's not the end? What if it's the beginning, just not the one you planned? 5 minutes may sound insignificant in a world that celebrates big wins, long journeys, and overnight success stories. We are taught to believe that change requires massive effort, perfect timing, and endless resources. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. 5 minutes can be the difference between giving up and holding on, between staying silent and speaking up, between remaining stuck and taking the first step forward. 5 minutes may not change your entire life instantly, but it can change your direction, and direction is everything. In moments of darkness, when life feels heavy and overwhelming, asking yourself to fix everything feels impossible. Your mind is tired, your heart is bruised, and your hope feels fragile. That is where 5 minutes become powerful. 5 minutes of deep breathing when anxiety is choking you, 5 minutes of stillness when your thoughts are racing, 5 minutes of choosing calm instead of panic. These small pauses remind you that you are still in control, even when life feels chaotic. 5 minutes are powerful because they remove the pressure of perfection. They don't ask you to be fearless, confident, or fully healed. They only ask you to show up. 5 minutes of honesty with yourself. 5 minutes of admitting that you are hurting but still willing to try. 5 minutes of courage is often more life-changing than hours of waiting for motivation that may never come. When life breaks you, it rarely does it all at once. It happens in moments. A harsh word, a rejection, a failure, a loss. In the same way, healing also happens in moments. 5 minutes of reflection can help you understand what hurt you. 5 minutes of forgiveness can loosen the grip of anger. 5 minutes of gratitude can shift your focus from what you lost to what still remains. These moments quietly rebuild you from the inside. 5 minutes can be the beginning of self-belief. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady. 5 minutes of reminding yourself that you have survived every hard day so far. 5 minutes of speaking kindly to yourself instead of criticizing. 5 minutes of choosing hope, even when doubt is louder. These small decisions slowly reshape the way you see yourself and your life. The beauty of 5 minutes is that they are always available. You don't need the perfect circumstances. You don't need approval. You don't need everything to be figured out. 5 minutes are possible even on your worst day, even when you feel broken, even when you feel lost. And when repeated, these 5 minutes create habits. Habits create strength, and strength creates transformation. Life does not change in one grand moment. It changes when you choose not to quit in small moments. 5 minutes of effort, 5 minutes of faith, 5 minutes of choosing yourself. Over time, these minutes become milestones, and before you realize it, your life begins to look different, not because everything changed, but because you did. Pain often arrives without warning. It doesn't ask if you are ready, and it doesn't care about your plans. One moment you are moving forward with hope, and the next moment you are forced to stop and face a reality you never imagined. Pain shakes your foundation, questions your beliefs, and leaves you wondering why life chose you. But pain is not just an ending, it is often a turning point, the place where your old self ends and a stronger, wiser version begins. When pain enters your life, it strips away illusions. It removes the masks you wear to please others and exposes what truly matters. You begin to see who stays, who leaves, and who you become when everything familiar falls apart. Pain teaches you lessons comfort never could. It humbles you, slows you down, and forces you to listen to your inner voice, the one you ignored when life was easy. There is a moment in pain where you feel completely powerless. You question your worth, your strength, and even your faith. You may feel broken, abandoned, or invisible, but hidden inside that breaking point is a quiet choice. You can let pain define you, or you can let it refine you. This choice is not loud or dramatic. It is made in silence, in tears, in nights when you hold yourself together with hope alone. Pain becomes a turning point when you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" It teaches resilience when you keep going despite fear. It teaches compassion when you understand others' struggles. It teaches self-respect when you stop accepting what hurts you. Pain reshapes your priorities and shows you the cost of ignoring your own needs. Through pain, you discover strength you didn't know you had. You learn how to survive days you once thought would destroy you. You learn that your heart can break and still keep beating. You learn that tears do not mean weakness, they mean release. Each painful experience leaves behind wisdom, and with that wisdom comes clarity. Pain also teaches you boundaries. It shows you where you overgave, where you stayed too long, and where you lost yourself trying to save others. At the turning point, you begin choosing yourself without guilt. You realize that protecting your peace is not selfish, it is necessary. Pain helps you rebuild your life with stronger foundations. Eventually, pain changes your perspective. What once felt like the end becomes the beginning of a new path. You become softer, yet stronger, more aware, more grounded. You stop chasing validation and start seeking purpose. Pain doesn't disappear, but it transforms into understanding, growth, and gratitude for how far you've come. Pain may break you, but it also builds you. It marks the moment you stop being who you were and start becoming who you were meant to be. There are moments in life when hope feels like a fragile word, almost unreal, especially when darkness surrounds you from every side. In those moments, choosing hope does not feel brave or inspiring. It feels exhausting. It feels forced. It feels like holding onto something invisible while everything visible is falling apart. And yet, choosing hope in the darkest moments is one of the most powerful decisions a person can make. Darkness has a way of convincing you that this pain is permanent, that this chapter is the whole story. It whispers that you are alone, forgotten, and powerless. In those moments, hope is not loud. It does not arrive with confidence or certainty. Hope arrives quietly, often trembling, often doubting, but still present. It shows up as a small inner voice saying, "Just hold on a little longer." Choosing hope does not mean denying your pain. It does not mean pretending everything is fine. True hope exists alongside tears, fear, and uncertainty. It means allowing yourself to feel the weight of what you are going through while still believing that it will not define your entire life. It means saying, "This hurts, but this is not the end." In the darkest moments, hope becomes a decision rather than a feeling. You may not feel hopeful at all, but you choose to get up anyway. You choose to breathe through the heaviness. You choose not to give up on yourself, even when self-doubt is loud. These choices may seem small, but they are acts of courage that slowly pull you toward the light. Hope gives you the strength to take one step when the whole path is unclear. It reminds you that you don't need all the answers right now. You only need to believe that something better is possible, even if you cannot see it yet. Hope is trusting that life can still surprise you, even after disappointment. When everything feels broken, hope becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded when emotions overwhelm you. It stops you from being consumed by despair. Hope allows you to imagine a future beyond the pain, even if that future feels distant. It helps you hold on to the idea that healing is a process, not a moment. Choosing hope also changes how you see yourself. It reminds you that you are stronger than your circumstances, that you have survived difficult days before and can survive this too. Hope helps you reclaim your power when life makes you feel helpless. It shifts your focus from what you have lost to what you are still capable of becoming. In time, you begin to realize that hope was never about avoiding darkness. It was about learning how to carry light within you while walking through it. And that light, once chosen, becomes impossible to extinguish. Failure and brokenness are words that carry heavy weight. Society teaches us to fear them, to hide them, to see them as proof that we were not enough. We are taught to celebrate success and perfection, while quietly burying the moments when we fall apart. But failure and brokenness are not signs of weakness. They are signs of humanity. And when we redefine them, they no longer hold the power to limit us. Failure is often misunderstood. It is seen as a dead end, a label that follows you, a reminder of what you could not achieve. In reality, failure is feedback. It shows you what didn't work, what needs to change, and where growth is required. Every failure carries wisdom, even when it feels painful. It teaches patience, resilience, and humility, lessons that success alone can never provide. Brokenness, too, is misunderstood. Being broken does not mean you are beyond repair. It means you have been tested. It means you have felt deeply, loved fully, and lived honestly. Brokenness happens when life demands more than you thought you could give. But in those moments, something remarkable occurs. You discover strength that only emerges when everything familiar falls apart. When you stop viewing failure as an enemy, you begin to see it as a teacher. It pushes you to reflect, to realign, and to rebuild with intention. Failure forces you to confront your fears and limitations, not to shame you, but to show you where you can grow. It strips away ego and replaces it with wisdom. Redefining brokenness means allowing yourself to be imperfect without self-judgment. It means accepting that pain changes you, but it does not diminish your worth. Broken pieces can be reshaped into something new, something stronger, something more meaningful. Just like shattered glass can become art, a broken life can become a powerful story of survival. There is courage in admitting that you are struggling. There is strength in asking for help. Redefining failure and brokenness allows you to release the pressure of being flawless. It gives you permission to heal at your own pace, without comparing your journey to anyone else's. When you embrace your failures, they lose their power over you. They become stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks. When you accept your brokenness, it transforms into authenticity. You stop pretending and start living honestly. And in that honesty, true healing begins. Failure does not define you. Brokenness does not disqualify you. They shape you, refine you, and prepare you for a deeper understanding of life. When you redefine them, you reclaim your story and turn your scars into symbols of strength. There comes a time in life when you realize that not everyone will believe in you. Some will doubt your dreams, question your abilities, or dismiss your vision because they cannot see what you see. In those moments, self-belief becomes not just important, but essential. Believing in yourself when no one else does is one of the hardest yet most powerful acts of courage you will ever practice. When people doubt you, it can feel deeply personal. Their disbelief can echo in your mind, slowly turning into your own inner voice of doubt. You begin to question your worth, your direction, and whether your dreams are unrealistic. But the truth is, no one else is required to understand your purpose. Your journey is yours alone, and self-belief is the foundation that keeps you standing when external validation is absent. Self-belief does not mean arrogance or blind confidence. It means trusting your inner voice even when it trembles. It means choosing to move forward despite uncertainty. Self-belief is built quietly, often in isolation, through consistent effort and resilience. It grows when you show up for yourself day after day, even when no one is watching or cheering. When no one believes in you, you learn to become your own support system. You learn to motivate yourself when encouragement is missing. You learn to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. This independence strengthens you. It teaches you that your worth is not dependent on approval, applause, or recognition. Self-belief also teaches patience. It reminds you that results take time and that growth is not always visible. You may work tirelessly without immediate rewards, but believing in yourself keeps you going. It fuels perseverance when giving up feels easier. It pushes you to keep learning, improving, and evolving. Doubt from others can be painful, but it can also be transformative. It forces you to define yourself on your own terms. It challenges you to prove, not to others, but to yourself, that you are capable. Self-belief turns doubt into determination and criticism into motivation. Believing in yourself when no one else does requires emotional strength. It means standing firm in your truth, even when misunderstood. It means choosing hope over fear and persistence over comfort. Over time, self-belief reshapes your identity. You stop seeking validation and start trusting your instincts. Gratitude is often misunderstood as a response to happiness, something you practice only when life is going well. In reality, gratitude is not the result of a perfect life. It is a tool that helps you survive and grow through imperfect moments. It has the power to shift your perspective, reshape your mindset, and slowly transform the way you experience life. When life feels heavy, gratitude does not ask you to ignore your pain. It asks you to acknowledge it without allowing it to consume you. Gratitude exists alongside struggle. It reminds you that even in difficult times, there are still moments of grace, a breath taken without effort, a kind word, a lesson learned, or the strength to endure another day. These small acknowledgments ground you when everything else feels uncertain. Practicing gratitude changes the way your mind works. Instead of focusing solely on what is missing, gratitude trains you to recognize what remains. This shift does not erase challenges, but it changes your relationship with them. When you begin to see obstacles as lessons rather than punishments, your emotional weight becomes lighter. Gratitude helps you move from survival mode into awareness. Gratitude also strengthens resilience. When you appreciate how far you've come, you gain confidence in how far you can go. Reflecting on past struggles you survived builds trust in your ability to overcome future ones. Gratitude becomes a reminder of your inner strength, even on days when you feel weak. This practice deepens self-awareness. It allows you to recognize your growth, your efforts, and your progress, even when results are not immediate. Gratitude shifts your focus inward, helping you appreciate who you are becoming rather than obsessing over who you think you should be. This acceptance brings peace. Gratitude also impacts your relationships. When you acknowledge the presence and efforts of others, connection deepens. You become more compassionate, more patient, and more understanding. Gratitude softens the heart and opens space for forgiveness, reducing emotional burdens that weigh you down. Most importantly, gratitude empowers you. It returns your sense of control in situations where you may feel helpless. When you choose gratitude, you choose how you respond to life rather than letting life dictate your emotions. This choice is where transformation begins. Gratitude is not a one-time act, but a daily practice. Over time, it reshapes your outlook, strengthens your spirit, and opens doors to inner peace. When practiced consistently, gratitude becomes more than an attitude. It becomes a life-changing tool that guides you through both joy and hardship. Owning your story without shame is one of the most liberating things you will ever do. Many people carry their past like a secret they must hide, believing their mistakes, failures, or painful experiences make them unworthy. Shame convinces you that your story disqualifies you, that if people truly knew what you've been through, they would judge you or walk away. But your story is not a weakness. It is evidence of survival, growth, and courage. Your story includes chapters you didn't choose, moments that broke you, and decisions you wish you could undo. It includes pain, loss, fear, and uncertainty. But it also includes resilience, lessons, and the strength it took to keep going. When you hide your story, you hide parts of yourself, and hiding creates distance from others and from your own truth. Shame thrives in silence. It grows stronger when you believe you are alone in your struggles. Owning your story means bringing light to what once felt heavy. It means acknowledging your past without letting it define your worth. You are not your worst mistake. You are not the sum of your lowest moments. You are the person who lived through them and learned from them. Owning your story does not mean oversharing or reliving pain endlessly. It means accepting what happened and allowing yourself to move forward without self-punishment. It means choosing self-compassion over self-criticism. When you stop judging yourself, you create space for healing. There is power in authenticity. When you speak your truth, you reclaim control over your narrative. You stop allowing others to define you based on rumors, assumptions, or partial truths. Authenticity invites connection. When you are honest about your journey, you give others permission to be honest about theirs. This shared humanity builds understanding and empathy. Owning your story also strengthens self-respect. You no longer seek validation by pretending to be perfect. You learn to stand confidently in who you are, flaws and all. This confidence does not come from approval, but from acceptance. You become grounded, secure, and free from the need to impress. Your story has value beyond you. Someone out there is struggling with something you've already survived. When you own your story, you become a source of hope. Your experiences can inspire, guide, and comfort others who feel lost. Your scars become proof that healing is possible. Shame loses its power the moment you choose honesty. When you own your story without shame, you transform pain into purpose and survival into strength. There comes a point in life when you realize that you can no longer wait for someone else to save you. You can no longer depend on external validation, approval, or rescue to bring you out of darkness. Becoming the light for yourself is not about isolation or pride. It is about responsibility. It is about choosing to show up for yourself when no one else can. In moments of struggle, it is natural to look outward for guidance, comfort, or reassurance. But when those sources are absent or unreliable, you are faced with a powerful choice. You can sit in the darkness and wait, or you can learn to create your own light. This light begins with self-awareness, recognizing your pain without denying it, and acknowledging your strength without minimizing it. Becoming your own light means learning how to comfort yourself in difficult moments. It means speaking to yourself with kindness instead of criticism. It means offering yourself the compassion you often give so freely to others. When you become gentle with yourself, healing begins. This light also comes from self-trust. Trusting your instincts, your decisions, and your pace. Life does not move according to a universal timeline, and becoming your own light means allowing yourself to grow without comparison. You learn to listen to your inner voice, even when it trembles, and honor it as a guide rather than silencing it with doubt. Becoming the light for yourself requires courage. It requires facing your fears instead of avoiding them. It requires accountability, accepting responsibility for your healing, your growth, and your choices. This is not easy, but it is empowering. When you stop blaming circumstances or people for your unhappiness, you regain control over your life. Light is created through consistency, through daily choices to care for your mental and emotional well-being, through boundaries that protect your peace, through habits that nurture your soul. These small acts of self-respect add up, slowly illuminating your path. As you become your own light, you also become a source of strength for others. Not because you are perfect, but because you are real. Your self-belief, resilience, and honesty inspire those who feel lost. Light shared is light multiplied. Becoming the light for yourself does not mean darkness will disappear. It means you will no longer be afraid of it. You carry the light within you, steady and strong, guiding you forward even on the darkest days. If you remember nothing else from this speech, remember this. Your life does not change in one dramatic moment. It changes in the quiet decisions you make when no one is watching. 5 minutes of awareness can shift a mindset. 5 minutes of courage can change a direction. 5 minutes of choosing yourself can begin a transformation that lasts a lifetime. Pain will come, doubt will visit, and darkness will try to convince you that you are not enough. But you have learned that pain can become a turning point, failure can become a teacher, and brokenness can become strength. You have learned that hope is a choice, self-belief is a necessity, gratitude is a tool, and your story is something to be owned, not hidden. You do not need permission to heal. You do not need approval to grow. You do not need to wait for the world to believe in you before you believe in yourself. Everything you need to rise already exists within you. The light you've been searching for has been yours all along. So when life feels heavy, when fear whispers, and when the road ahead feels uncertain, give yourself 5 minutes. 5 minutes to breathe. 5 minutes to remember who you are. 5 minutes to choose hope over fear. Because sometimes that is all it takes to change your life forever.